Daemons of the Shadow Realm is a bad translation. Sorry to say it. And understanding why is the key to the whole story. No spoilers here. This story follows twins, Yuru and Asa, who get pulled into a hidden world where people form partnerships with beings called Tsugai, translated as Daemons in English. At first, the difference between Daemons and Tsugai doesn't seem important. But once you look at the Japanese meaning and influences, it actually changes how you understand the story. And since this series is by Hiromu Arakawa, the genius creator of Fullmetal Alchemist, I think the choice of the word Tsugai is worth paying attention to. So first, what does the title actually mean? The Japanese title is Yomi no Tsugai. Yomi refers to the land of dead in Japanese. It sometimes gets translated as hell, but it's not really the Western idea of hell because there is no punishment or judgment. It's just where the dead go. And Tsugai literally means pair. But in this story, it refers to paired supernatural beings that are bound together. So very literally, the title would be something like Pairs from the Underworld, which doesn't sound nearly as cool as Daemons of the Shadow Realm, I guess? Does this name even sound cool? It just makes me think of Yu-Gi-Oh! Personally, I think something like Tsugai, Pairs from the Hidden Realm, or Underworld, would have been closer. Or just leave it untranslated, like Inuyasha or Jujutsu Kaisen. I speak Japanese and live in Japan, so I know translation is really hard, so I won't be too mean. Anyways, what actually makes a Tsugai? To get a better sense, let's look at left and right. They are Yuru Tsugai, paired beings that he summoned, which makes him their master. And their designs feel very influenced by Koma Inu, these lion dog statues that guard the entrances of Japanese shrines. Koma Inu and similar guardian statues are especially famous in Okinawa and other parts of Asia, with different names depending on the place. Like in Okinawa, they are called Shisa. Koma Inu always come in pairs, one on the left and one on the right, and their role is generally to protect a boundary. And in the series, left and right are literally guarding the entrance to Yuru's village, just like Japanese Koma Inu do. And they're even both made out of stone. Koma Inu are lion-like, and lions are basically like big cats. Which is why I feel left and right have some scenes where they kind of have big cat energy. Like they seem to enjoy fighting and chasing, almost like cats catching prey. Left even said it's in her nature to do the chasing. So right away, you can see this idea of pairs and duality showing up, not just in what they are, but also how they function as a team. In the story, Tsugai are pairs of supernatural beings. But what kind of supernatural beings are they? Some people can see them, but some people can't. And it seems like animals can see them as well. And even though they follow their master's orders, they are not mindless. They have their own will. Like when Yuru tells left and right to do as they please, they have no problem doing that, because they already have things they want to do. They also claim that they are not monsters, and Gabu even is offended by someone calling her Tsugai a monster. I don't know what they're calling Gabu in the dub. It seems like Gabby? Sorry, I only watched it in Japanese and saw a few clips in English, so I'm gonna call her Gabu. Please don't attack me for that. Gabu Tsugai, in particular, looks like a pair of teeth. They are a pair of upper and lower, or two parts that only make sense when they are put together. So again, a pair, Tsugai. Another Tsugai pairing that I thought was interesting was this turtle and rabbit, which I'm assuming is a reference to the tortoise and the hare in Aesop's fables. So are Tsugai ghosts, spirits, yokai, cryptids, monsters, or gods? Yes, I am quoting the anime. But just like mentioned in the anime, humans love to create categories to place supernatural beings in. So yes, I am trying to categorize them, just like the characters in the anime. How human of me. And to be honest, I am finding it difficult. At first, I thought yokai might be the best wording, because there are so many kinds of yokai. For those who don't know, yokai are basically supernatural beings. In Japanese folklore, they look like this, either scary as hell or super kawaii-ified, which is why I love Japan. I think the most famous yokai are tanuki, made famous by made famous by Tanuki Mario. However, from what I find, yokai don't have that pair element, and some Tsugai don't even seem to be based off Japanese folklore. I even asked a Japanese friend the differences between ghosts, spirits, yokai, and demons in Japan. And she said that's a very difficult question, and it sounds like something that Okarun from Dandadan would argue about. And in the end, she told me she really doesn't know, and only a cult otaku could give a good answer. So yeah, down the rabbit hole I went, and my conclusion is, Tsugai are a new category of supernatural beings that Arakawa created specifically for this world, drawing from Japanese Shintoism, folklore, and probably whatever else she felt like. And even if she grabs from other cultures or makes her own original creatures, this can still fit in with Japanese Shintoism, because Shintoism accepts the idea of thousands of spirits. However, I think she wanted to use the word Tsugai to be free in her writing, to not be tied down by words like yokai or god, or even daemon, and everything those words imply. I think that's also why she had characters mention multiple times that these creatures are Tsugai, but humans will label them all kinds of different things. Like when Wright questions why some humans don't see left and right as gods, while others do. And lines like this, there isn't a single name for them, because everyone calls them something different. It feels like the story is pointing at us, like we're just mere silly humans, who want to categorize everything into something we already know. And this might sound like the end, but there's one more reason I think she chose the word Tsugai, because Tsugai isn't just about these creatures. This idea of pairs shows up everywhere in the story. Again, most obviously in the title and the Tsugai themselves, but you've also got Asa and Yuru, their names meaning morning and night, and they are twins. They are pairs in multiple ways. And I think it's really worth thinking about for a second. Morning and night, they're not just twins, they are opposites, two halves of the same day. And interestingly, in a lot of mythology, the feminine is associated with night and the masculine with day. But Arakawa, the original creator, actually flips that here. Asa the girl means morning, and Yuru the boy means night. So even with the names, she's playing with opposites in an unexpected way. Arakawa actually touched on this kind of sun and moon symbolism in Fullmetal Alchemist too. So I don't think it's a coincidence that she's using it again here. The story is literally built around two people who represent opposing forces, but are bound together, which is exactly what Tsugai means. Two halves of the same thing. On top of that, every single chapter title is structured as a pair, like Chapter 1, Asa and Yuru. Chapter 2, right and left. All of them have this format. And if you think about it, even the story's premise is a pair. There's the visible world and the hidden world, the human side and the supernatural side. The whole story takes place in the tension between those two opposing sides. So this idea of Tsugai, pairs, isn't just a small detail. It seeps into every aspect of the story. And that's exactly why I think the word Tsugai is so important. It's not just a name for these beings. It's the thread that holds the whole story together. Using the word daemon instead of Tsugai hides part of the narrative Arakawa was trying to write. I'd love to know if you spotted any other pairs I missed, because I feel like the deeper you look, the more you find. I've only seen the anime and read a little bit of the manga, so I'm sure there's a lot more hiding in there. And if I got anything wrong, please let me know. This is just my interpretation, based on what I've seen and read so far. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And honestly, I've been having so much fun with this series. The anime looks awesome, as expected of Studio Bones. Sasuga Bones. And the music. We've got an amazing opening by Vondi and ending theme by Yama. I'm honestly so happy that so many talented artists are working on this series, especially because I am a huge fan of the creator, Arakawa. So I keep catching these little details that feel so distinctly her, like Gabu, short, braids, red cloak, constant short jokes. We all know it screams Edward. And also, we get another sibling story. We are eaten well, because Arakawa writes about family and siblings really, really well. Then there's even these little moments like this, mentioning how good rice is a luxury, or that good nutrition is important to help you grow. Arakawa grew up on a farm, so I swear, nutrition is always sneaking into her stories somehow. I actually did a whole other video on her hometown in Hokkaido and how it connects to her works like Fullmetal Alchemist and Silver Spoon. It has no spoilers, like most of my videos. So feel free to check that out next if you want to learn more about the creator of Daemons of the Shadow Realm. Or maybe this video is more your thing. See you there. Daemons.
Have you ever had a dream